Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Lesson 48. There is nothing to fear. There is no thing to fear. There is nothing to fear. The idea for today simply states a fact. It is not a fact to those who believe in illusions, but illusions are not facts. In truth, there is nothing to fear. It is very easy to recognize this, but it is very difficult to recognize it for those who want illusions to be true. Today's practice periods will be very short, very simple, and very frequent. Merely repeat the idea as often as possible. You can use it with your eyes open at any time and in any situation. It is strongly recommended, however, that you take a minute or so, whenever possible, to close your eyes and repeat the idea slowly to yourself several times. It is particularly important that you use the idea immediately should anything disturb your peace of mind. The presence of fear is a sure sign that you are trusting in your own strength. The awareness that there is nothing to fear shows that somewhere in your mind, though not necessarily in a place you recognize as yet, you have remembered God. And let His strength take the place of your weakness. The instant you are willing to do this, there is indeed nothing to fear. So the Course is acknowledging that, hey, if you're dwelling in illusions, then yeah, there's lots to fear, obviously. You can have any kind of hellish nightmare that you desire, even if you think you don't desire it. It is you choosing that hellish nightmare. The instant you are willing to let His strength take the place of your weakness, there's indeed nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. Sit with that truth. Repeat this idea as often as possible, and certainly anytime you feel agitated or afraid or uncertain. A Course in Miracles will help you to develop such indomitable peace that nothing can perturb you. I'll share a personal example. A few weeks ago, my realtor called me and said, "Your building burnt down." I had recently purchased a commercial property to rent out to provide for my family, and he said it burnt down. So I felt very calm and safe because in truth, there's nothing to fear. So I thanked him for informing me. And then I called my insurance agent and said, "My building burnt down, so I need to file a claim." And he responded, "Oh my goodness, there was a report that didn't get filed and you don't have insurance." And this was an expensive building that I had to use my personal residence as collateral for. Well, I didn't have to. We don't have to do anything, but I did. I had collateralized my personal residence where my children live. So this seemed like bad news to my ego, but I don't really listen to my ego that much anymore. I just felt so peaceful when he told me. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I've never had this experience before. I've never had a building burn down and then found out I didn't have any insurance on it and that I might lose my home. And then the ego for just a moment came up and said, "Your children could be homeless. They won't have anywhere to live. Like, why aren't you freaking out?" Because my ego used to drive the car, but now my true self drives the car most of the time, and the ego's in the back seat. So I can still hear its voice sometimes. It just doesn't control me. Like, why are you getting upset? It's like the backseat driver. "What are you doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Turn around, get angry, yell, freak out." But what would that do? I knew that God is my strength. And I knew that everything would be okay. I didn't know how. That's above my pay grade at the moment, but I just knew it would be okay. And as I had that awareness, I felt my heart open up and I felt the light of God coming from what appeared to be above, but I know that it's within. And I felt that warmth wrap around me, and I felt such connection to that strength, such devotion to that strength. And I knew that I was completely held in every aspect. I knew that there's nothing to fear. I felt so peaceful. It just didn't matter. Now, to the ego, that's delusion. But if you break it down, doesn't it actually make more sense to not make yourself miserable over something that's already happened and that you can't change? I stayed calm, peaceful, and even happy. And I went to bed that night feeling so peaceful. I knew everything was okay and that there's nothing to fear. And I woke up the next morning to a text from my realtor, and he's like, I am so sorry. I can't believe I made such a boneheaded mistake. Your building did not burn down. In fact, it's completely untouched. What happened was there was a dumpster fire right behind your building that created the illusion of a fire, and there was a whole bunch of fire trucks and the whole street got blocked off, and driving by, it looked like your building was on fire. So I'm so sorry that I misinformed you. And I felt happy at the news, but the strange thing is I didn't even feel a sense of relief because I wasn't worried. It was just new information. Oh, my building didn't burn down. Okay. I let my insurance agent know, hey, my building didn't burn down. We might want to add insurance though. This is a really extreme example, and I'm not asking you to get there overnight. It took me years of daily meditation, Course in Miracles, deep trust, a deep willingness to trust, a deep willingness to trust and surrender and receive. The moral of the story isn't that because I had such great faith, my building was spared. The moral of the story is that even if my building wasn't spared, it would have been okay. Helen Keller said once. Actually, you know what? I've got it right here. This little quote. I've had it with me since I was 9 years old. I don't know why. I've brought it with me to 5 different countries where I've lived. It's the one thing I never let go of. I didn't even know why I kept it. I just never lost this one thing. I don't think I own anything from 9 years old. But this. Whenever one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened before us. Helen Keller. That's a beautiful quote by Helen Keller. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened before us. If you feel that there are closed doors in your life, stop looking at those doors. Look for the open door, my love. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow for lesson 49.